本時間8時となりました。ムーンステークの共同ウェビナー。今日はオーブスとのウェビナーになります。大変たくさんの皆さんにお越しいただいてありがとうございます。非常に嬉しく思っております。今日はですね、オーブスとそれからムーンステークの、共同ウェビナーということで、主に、オーブスとの説明であったりとか、最近のアップデートであったりとか、そういったところについてお話しさせていただいたりですね、また、ムーンステークとオーブスがですね、今年の3月に、パートナーシップを、結んでですね、この、まさに今週の月曜日から、ムーンステークで、オーブスのステーキングをですね、サポートを開始をしました。そうしたこともろもろ含めてですね、今日お話しさせていただければというふうに思います。1時間という短い時間ですけども、ぜひ、最後までお付き合いいただければというふうに思っております。なおですね、最初の30分については、日本語と英語両方で、行わせていただいてですね、最後の質疑、Q&A の部分については日本語のみでということで、させていただきますので、よろしくお願いいたします。Thank you very much for everyone participating today. We have the joint webinar between Moonstake and Orbs today. Both parties have made a partnership together on this the past March, and the Moonstake actually has just started the staking support of the Orbs and from this Monday. So this is very a good opportunity for all of us today to understand what Orbs is and the current progress and the future, the proposition and by the Orbs and also the by the Moonstake as well. 今日はですね、ゲストとして、ちょっと待ってくださいね。ごめんなさい。ですね、今日のメニューのご紹介させていただきますけども、最初にちょっと簡単にご挨拶させていただいた後で、ムーンステークのちょっとご紹介を少し、これ日本語のみでさせていただいて、でそれから、オーブスのですね、ジェネラルカウンセルの、ラン・ハマーさんのですね、インタビュー、先日ちょっと取らせていただいたので、こちらを、英語で話したものを日本語字幕をつけているものを流させていただきます。最後に先ほど申し上げた通りで、Q&A の、時間を設けさせていただいておりますので、様々、Q&A していただければなというふうに思っております。で、なお、質問ある方はですね、この Zoom の、タブのところに Q&A のボタンあると思いますので、そちらをクリックしていただいてですね、随時投げていただければ、こちらの方で、時間の許す限り、お答えをさせていただきたいと思っております。まずちょっと自分の自己紹介の前にですね、ラン・ハマーさん、ジェネラルカウンセル、今日先ほど申し上げましたけれども、インタビューの方で、参加をしていただきます。それから、Q&A の方にはですね、堀田真代さん、オーブスの日本事業の責任者ということで、今日お越しいただいております。真代さん、それでは、ちょっと簡単に自己紹介をお願いいたします。
はい、お世話になっております。今日はありがとうございます。あと、オーブスのコミュニティの皆さん、あと、ムーンステークのコミュニティの皆さん、今日は参加いただきありがとうございます。オーブスで日本事業責任者をやっております、堀田真代と申します。2018年からオーブスで働いておりまして、何回かミートアップでこの中の方にはお会いしたことがあるかもしれませんが、今、イスラエルからジョインしています。今日はどうぞよろしくお願いいたします。
よろしくお願いします。ありがとうございます。私はムーンステークのシニアアドバイザーを務めておりまして、先ほどですね、先日、ちょっとミューズファイナンスという新しいディファイのプロジェクトを立ち上げました。そちらのファウンダーおよび代表というような形で今、こちらのディファイの方も進めさせていただいております。もともとは QRC という香港にある会社のですね、代表をしておりました。これはレビテックやガバテックの分野でですね、ブロックチェーンの導入を進めていくということを中心に行わせていただいておりました。様々なパートナーさんたちと一緒にさせていただいておりまして、非常に多くの経験をブロックチェーンの業界でもさせていただいております。私ちょっとオーブス非常に興味関心があるというかですね、個人的にちょっと思い入れがあるのは、学生時分にイスラエルに実は何度か勉強しに行ったことがあってですね、もうちょっと20年近く前の話になるんですけども、そういった点からもですね、やっぱりその当時もやはり技術大国イスラエルというふうに言われてて、当時もインテルのコンピューターのマイクロチップのですね工場っていうか、そういうのもイスラエルにすでにあってですね、そういったところが世界に対して技術の発信をしたっていうことが非常になんか懐かしく改めて思っているところです。今日はこういう機会いただいたので、ぜひいろんな話させていただければというふうに思っております。 では、ちょっと簡単にですね、ムーンステークのお話、少しだけさせていただきます。実はムーンステークですね、ステーキングのサービスプロバイダーとして1年前に、事業を始めさせていただいて、昨日ですね、この1周年の記念を実際迎えることができました。非常に多くのパートナーさんとですね、多くのユーザーの皆さんと一緒にですね、1周年迎えることができて非常に嬉しく思っております。1周年記念してですね、実際にちょっとキャンペーンを開催しておりまして、後ほど、こういった情報もですね、アクセスできる、ツイッター等々、こちらのですね、チャットの方に記載させていただいてますので、実はOrbsも含めてですね、大変たくさんのコインをですね、皆様にちょっとご提供していただき、させていただく機会になっておりますので、ぜひ、参加いただければというふうに考えております。はい、ムーンステークの情報発信、この、ですね、キャンペーン情報なんかも含めて、このツイッターをメインに、配信をさせていただいております。ぜひ、様々な情報発信させていただいておりますので、この機会にフォローいただければと思います。私の個人的なツイッターはこちらになりますけども、今回、Orbsの方させていただいておりますけども、実は定期的にいろんなブロックチェーンのプロジェクトの、ウェビナーであったりとか、あるいはその DeFi であったりとか、そういったことの勉強会などもさせていただいておりまして、こちらの情報配信も、このツイッター等々でやらせていただいておりますので、ぜひまたフォローしていただければというふうに思っております。はい。で、ムーンステークなんですが、その1年間、今、ステーキングのプロバイダーとしてですね、様々やらせていただいてて、今年に入ってですね、ステーキングのボリュームということで、世界第9位まで上がることが今できております。こちらもちろんですね、上下があるんですけれども、常に大体世界のトップ10ぐらいには今いるような形になっております。大小様々合わせると、ステーキングのプロバイダー世界大体7000ぐらいあってですね、実際にちゃんと稼働しているものっていうのは1000ぐらいだと思うんですけど、その中でもかなり世界のトップの方に今つけているということが、こういったところからも言えるかなというふうに思っております。で、こういうムーンステークのですね、躍進を支えているのがまさにそのパートナーの皆さんということで、実は3月にですね、Orbsとパートナーシップ締結させていただいたりということもあったんですけども、その他の、例えばエマーゴであったり、ロック X とか、プラズムとか、様々とネオとかオントロジーとかですね、ブロックチェーンのコアなブロックチェーンのプロジェクトとパートナーシップを締結することによって、非常に近しい関係の中で開発を行ったり、コミュニケーションを取ったりということを進めさせていただいておりました。こういうパートナーシップの会もあってですね、コミュニティの皆さんとも近しい関係の中で、ステーキング情報を共有させていただいたりということで、ここまで来ております。簡単に、プロダクトを紹介させていただきますと、今、モバイルとウェブのウォレット2つあります。Orbsのステーキングが始まったということで、もちろん、このモバイルウォレット、ウェブウォレット、それぞれから、Orbsのステーキングにも対応しております。今、メタマスクと、例えばバリデータで、つなぐときっていうのは、メタマスクと確かコネクトしているかと思うんですけども、ムーンステークのウォレットですと、ムーンステークのウォレットの中から、直接、ステーキングを行っていただけるというような形になっておりますので、ぜひ、私なんかも普段から使っておりますけど、もちろん使っておりますけど、かなり利便性の高いウォレットになっておりまして、Orbs含めてですね、世界2000の暗号資産に対応もちろんしておりますし、我々がパートナーシップを組んでいる、ステーキング、コインのステーキングもこのウォレットから直接行えるということで、非常にステーキング機能を備えたユニバーサルウォレットになっておりますので、ぜひ、この機会に使ってみていただければというふうに考えております。3月にパートナーシップを結び、この、今年の、ごめんなさい、今月の、今週の月曜日ですね、ついにムーンステークのウォレットでOrbsのステーキングの対応が始まりましたという格好になっております。で、ウェブのちょっとウォレットのところでどういうふうにステーキングするかっていうと、wallet.moonstake.io に行っていただくと、ウォレットのレジストレーションの画面があります。で、こちらから、ご自身の、メールアドレスとパスワードを決めていただいてですね、登録を行っていただいたうち、Orbsのトークンをウォレットに通過をすると。で、そうするとですね、Orbsトークンが、ウォレットの中に現れますので、そこからですね、ステーキングをもう押していただければ、すぐにステーキングできるような、そういったような簡単な仕組みになっております。ムーンステークは、ガーディアンとしてですね、バリデーターとして、今回、Orbsのユニバースに参加をしていただいて、させていただいておりますので、こちらの方もですね、ステーキングから選んでいただくとですね、ムーンステークのバリデーターすぐ出るような格好になっております。 ちなみにですけども、これはOrbsのですね、Orbsユニバースのアナリティクスから、取ってきたもので、ちょっとまだ始まったばっかりなので、数字のところはちょっとあれなんですけども、赤丸で、囲ってあるところがですね、デリゲーターズシェアということで、Orbsのステーキングですね、行うと、ステーキング額の中から、最大で 12% が、報酬と手数料として配分されると。で、そのうちの3分の2が、ステーキングしていただいている皆さんのところに行って、3分の1が、Moonstakeの取り分というような格好になっておりまして、ほぼほぼ多分他の、デリゲーターのガーディアンズの皆さんと同じような格好になっているかと思うんですけども、12% 取って、4% がMoonstakeの手数料的なもの、それから 8%、ステーキングしていただいている皆さんで配分していただくというような格好になっておりますので、ぜひこの辺もご承知おきください。はい。最後になりますけども、先ほど私申し上げました、ミューズファイナンスという、新たな、ディファイのですね、プラットフォーム、こちら、ステーキングを活用しながらですね、ディファイのプロダクトに様々アクセスができるという、同性プールなんかにアクセスできるような仕組みになっておりまして、5月に、最初のプロダクトがオープンするような形になっておりますので、また、こういった情報提供もですね、Moonstakeや、私の、Twitter の方から発信させていただきますので、ぜひご承知おきください。はい。ありがとうございました。はい、それではですね、続きまして、先ほど申し上げました、ラン・ハマーさんと、私のですね、ラン・ハマーさんを中心としたですね、ちょっとインタビューになりますけども、こちらを、動画になりますがご覧をいただきます。日本語で、サブタイトルがついております。ちょっとお待ちください。
Thank you very much for joining us today. This is a joint webinar with the Orbs and Orbs blockchain and the Moonstake, and we have the general counsel of the Orbs blockchain, Ran Hammer, today. Hi, Ran.
Hi, Shogo. How are you?
Hi, pretty good. How are you doing?
Great.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Would you please introduce yourself?
I'm sure. My name is Ran Hammer. I live in Tel Aviv, Israel. I'm a lawyer by trade, used to work at one of Israel's biggest law firms. I'm specialized in general high-tech, M&A startups. I got acquainted with blockchain quite early, in around 2014, working with Daniel Pellet, one of our co-founders, on some of his earlier ventures in the field. And really got into the space, like sucked into the space quite strongly. I have joined Orbs beginning of 2018, so over 3 years now, because I really thought it was the most promising projects out of all my clients at the time. So I just jumped in full time. And yeah, I'm other than taking care, obviously, of legal and compliance, I am also leading everything that has to do with partnerships, community marketing, and this is also what led me to, having this great partnership with Moonstake.
Cool, great, thank you so much. Well, yeah, you have just touched the other partnership with Orbs. Well, in the industry, actually, Orbs and the Moonstake made a partnership, for the from the Moonstake's perspective, we are still supporting the Orbs, the tokens as a guardian, which is a validator for the staking. So then, this is really exciting moment for us too. So from the sense, thank you very much for joining us today. I'm sure that we get actually lots of the audience in Japan today, in Asia actually today. Japan and Korea and several Southeast Asian countries, and then I'm pretty much sure that many audience in Asia might be very much actually interested in a high ratio in the population to receive both doses of the vaccine in COVID-19. Well, I'm watching the news and reading the Indonesian news, and we are always talking about that. But how actually did the COVID change your life if you compare with before and after the COVID?
Oh wow, that's a big question. COVID in Israel was pretty bad for a while. We had quite a lot of cases in Israel as compared to our population at certain points. We had 3 quite long quarantines. which changed, a lot. The kids did not have schools. You could not go out. Everything was closed, restaurants, shopping malls, etc., including workplaces. It took us a while for the company to really figure out how to nail the work from home. So, we did, obviously, like most other companies, we moved to work from home completely, which took a little bit of time to nail down, but I think we were quite effective. But yeah, the big luck for Israel is that we got the vaccines quite early, and now there's a very, very, very high ratio of people vaccinated. If you exclude kids who cannot get the vaccine yet, and some people who for other medical reasons are not possible to get the vaccine, I think we have almost 90% people vaccinated in Israel now. So everything already opened up. Wow. We still wear face masks outside. I mean, in public places, but everything is open, public transportation and schools and restaurants, and looks like, things are getting back to normal. But it's going to be different, I guess. A lot of people learn how to work from home, tons of digital transformation. So it's going to be back to normal, but new normal, as they say.
Yeah, that's really true. Because I've been working at home in the past 1 year, and then, before that, and I travel around the world maybe 100 times a year. But then, there's no travel anymore, right? But in return, probably we get something more technical innovation, or we actually change our mind that we have to actually see these people. However, where we can accommodate a more digital transformation, so that probably blockchain could be one of it. So then I think we're actually living in a pretty much interesting era at the moment. Okay, so then let's talk about the Orbs blockchain, which is very, very unique. From my perspective, but please explain Orbs generally and that's your the unique proposition.
Okay, definitely. So I think in order to understand what Orbs is, you need to understand our group's history a little bit. So what we started doing back in 2017, even earlier actually, is consult some of the other bigger companies who are looking to transition into blockchain. And obviously back then, the big platform for blockchain adoption and for use was Ethereum, for smart contracts for scripting. And that was true then. I think it's still true today that most of the ecosystem is on Ethereum. But when you look at Ethereum specifically, you see there's a lot of problems, very high network congestion, gas fees are surging. We see that now the gas fees are crazy. Things aren't working, as fast as they would on, a centralized server. And we felt that what the industry needed was basically a product that would work like existing cloud providers. I mean, something that would have all the benefits of, Amazon, AWS, or Google Cloud, or Azure, but would work on a blockchain. So, we looked around, we didn't see there's any product out there that actually does that. And that was, the reason why we decided to start Orbs, basically to build a blockchain that works in the real world, that works in the same way as, existing cloud computing services does. This includes being able to write in many programming languages, not only Solidity. That means, the person who is paying the fees for the network should not be the user, should be the developer. When I use an app on my phone, I don't pay for the infrastructure cost. The developer of the app pays for it. So, we decided to build our own blockchain for, actual, real life use cases. In terms of architecture, we ended up with a very interesting architecture that's basically hybrid, meaning that we leverage all the upsides, all the benefits of Ethereum on the one hand, but we have our own native blockchain on the other hand. So we have the Orbs blockchain, who is run by Orbs Guardians, our validators. Moonstake's just joined to be one of them, which is very exciting. So, we have our own native blockchain on the one hand, but on the other hand, the token is an ERC20 token, and the entire proof of stake architecture is on Ethereum, which gives us, what we think is the best of both worlds in terms of, adoption and integrations, on the one hand, and then having our own, scalable solution, native solution on the other hand. In terms of focus for Orbs, I think in the first couple of years, we are very, very focused on enterprise use cases. Our big mission was and still is to basically bring in real use cases from enterprise to work on top of a permissionless blockchain, not private blockchains like you see other projects promoting. We are still very strong believers in that dream. But if, at the beginning we thought it's going to take 2 or 3 years, I think now we understand it's going to take more like 10 years. Mm-hmm. So we are still focused on that, but hanging tight on the one hand. On the other hand, we do see that a lot of the recent usage of blockchain technology, where you actually see the benefits of decentralization and blockchain technology taking place, is in the decentralized finance space. So in the last 6 months or so, we have been very, very focused on DeFi, and basically positioning Orbs as a platform, not only for enterprise, but also for DeFi, for decentralized finance. And we're actually rolling out our first decentralized finance product called the Orbs Liquidity Nexus, which will be launched in the very near future.
Okay, thank you so much. The lots of the comprehensive answers and to cover the different aspects of the Orbs, so, which is kind of to make actually the Orbs very, very unique as well. And I guess you have talked about the Amazon AWS, and for example, the most recently the Orbs became available in AWS and a marketplace, which is probably one of the Orbs continuous practice to make the blockchain adoption much more better in the enterprise solution as well as in the user solutions. So thank you so much about that. Let's talk about a little bit more about the Moonstakes and Orbs collaboration. How will these two the companies collaborate, and which the help with each other to enhance the Orbs ecosystem?
So definitely, that's the big one. So I think we need to explain it. I think Moonstake actually is a great partner for Orbs in 2 different avenues, and I'll explain. One, let's start with the Guardian. So what happens in Orbs basically is that Orbs is a decentralized network and is run by our validators, which we call them Guardian. And a Guardian is not only a validator. Guardian is not someone that just runs some code like an Ethereum or Bitcoin miner does. A Guardian is also a leader of a community. Our model is a delegated proof of stake. So Guardians are very, very important within our ecosystem. They have their own communities. They interact with the project. They relay information. They gather their people to delegate for them. So a Guardian is really like a strong ambassador or community leader. We have a lot of active Guardians who are working quite well and quite effective, but we're always looking to increase, the Guardians that participate with Orbs, and we're looking out to see which are the best partners. Now, specifically, Moonstake is obviously a very strong Pan-Asian brand, but also have very strong presence in Japan. Now, in terms of legacy, the strongest 2 communities for Orbs has always been Korea and Japan. Now, Korea has been, very active in terms of trading, people coming out, and we do have like our strong community of, OG holders in Korea. While in Japan, I think there are a lot of people who are very long on Orbs, who have been us, since really the first initial distribution of tokens. They're out there. They're very strong holders and OGs. We have a couple of Guardians who are quite active in Japan, but we didn't have a lot of everybody just sticking in there together with us, and not a lot of new Guardians joining since the beginning. So we do wanted a strong Guardian with a strong presence in Asia, in all of Asia, but also specifically in Japan, to boost the confidence of some of our very long-time holders and believers that we have in Japan. So, we think Moonstake is the best partner for that. Very, very strong brand, very strong community engagement, and very strong Asian presence and very strong Japanese presence specifically, which is something that we're very happy about. And all that was just one avenue. The other avenue, which is related but unrelated, is the mobile wallet. For Orbs, the way delegation worked since we launched our V1 and also for V2 is that we had our own staking interface, staking wallet called Tetra, and which was primarily based on mobile and working with MetaMask. Now, a lot of people used it to delegate, and it's quite user-friendly, but not all people are tech savvy enough to use a MetaMask and use the mobile app. A lot of people just do stuff on their phone. And one of the feedbacks we got from our community is saying, we want a good mobile solution to stake Orbs. Now, we are working on a few different solutions, and we also just announced that we have our own wallet integrated with different wallets such as Engine and MetaMask, but Moonstake, I think, gives like a better experience in terms of staking via the wallet, which is something that we think would be very, very good, for community, especially people who are not super tech savvy, just, prefer to have something that's very friendly and very easy to use, which is something that Moonstake provides. So, we get two major things out of this partnership. We get one, very strong guardian and ambassador for our brand and a good partner. Second, we get a very good mobile solution for mobile staking. So, two big benefits.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciate that you could talk very much about the Moonstake, which could probably potentially give a lot of benefits to the global community, not only in Asia but also for the global community. Thank you so much about that. In addition to the the partnership with the staking perspective, and what else and what other the potential the collaboration between Moonstake and Orbs when it comes to the contribution to the future, the financial industry, for example, banking or financial industry, you are actually Orbs blockchain that pretty much are focusing upon these financial sectors. But do you think this collaboration will also help in that sense?
Yeah, definitely. So obviously, what I mentioned is just the start. There's a whole. Our space is huge, and there are so many things we can do together. We are specifically, focused on some quite specific use cases in DeFi right now. But Orbs is an open project, and we always work with our partners to see how we can think about new ideas and how we can, expand the offering of our blockchain specifically. But generally about the space, I think this year, 2021. Is the year for financial disruption. Everything that happens in the world, governments printing money. There is a reason why Bitcoin is going so high. A lot of people really want this, money over the internet solution. They want something that's not, that is not 100% dependent on banks. They want a solution, for transferring money over the internet, creating like a different monetary system. That's primarily generated by users and for users. I think this is happening very broadly within our ecosystem. And I think, each of us is playing a specific role. Us as, as an infrastructure company, we're trying to build the best infrastructure for this type of disruptions. Moonstake, are building the best interface for this type of disruption. So I think the possibilities are really endless at this point, and I think we're going to see tons of new stuff happening, this year and in the next few years also.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. The Moonstake actually has recently announced that getting into the DeFi space jointly with the Muse Finance. This is actually the independent project, which is actually founded by myself. So this is going to be actually another the venture than for myself. But I guess
because DeFi became, of course, very booming last year, and actually the boom itself continues this year as well, especially since the January. The lots of the DEXs, decentralized exchanges, had an extreme amount of the actually users these days. So then, in addition to the DEX, and we have like a lending platform, data farming, or the wrapping, and lots of different aspects in the DeFi. So then, I would definitely love to have like a much further discussion with Orbs and how we can also like collaborate in the DeFi space as well.
Definitely. I mean, we haven't disclosed a lot of information about liquidity nexus, but we did give already a few that's public. And one of the things that we're building is basically a bridge that would help different players get different things out of harvesting or participating in liquidity provision. And the idea is basically to build something that can connect with a lot of different solutions. So obviously Muse can be one of them. I mean, everybody talks about DeFi being this financial Lego blocks, right? Everything connects to everything. And interoperability. So, we would be very happy to pursue how we can, integrate those two projects together to generate something that's very exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was actually just reading the blog about the Nexus, those Nexus, and that's the single yield firming, which is very much interesting for me too. So then, yeah, let's just keep also working on that too. Okay, thanks. Okay, so the next question is then, what do you actually expect or anticipate the Moonstake to become guardian? So then, the Moonstake will be supporting the Orbs staking from next week, when we actually have this webinar. It should probably be started already. But as a guardian validator, you have already talked about that. But as the guardian validator, what do you actually expect in a Moonstake, and what kind of the benefits that the other the community can expect?
So I think the biggest thing for a project, and for obviously we all need to do our jobs in terms of maintaining the security of the network and operating smoothly and staking, but that's all the boring parts. I think the interesting part, it's very important, but that's the basic. I think the big part of both from the project end and from the guardian end is really all about communication. I mean, we want and I think it's already happening with a lot of our top guardians right now, and we hope Moonstake could also be another avenue for that, is that really facilitate communication between the project and the community. So both in terms of putting everything that we do and all of the updates for us, really getting them into the community on the one hand, but on the other hand, and probably more important, is for us to get feedback from community. We're building something out, we're putting a lot of efforts into something. Sometimes the community thinks, oh wow, this is great, you should do that. But another time we're getting feedback from community, listen, you got this wrong. I mean, for people who've been with us for a long time, I think we have a good track record of changing stuff based on community requests and on community feedback. So I think, again, the guardian is a very complex role, but if I would put my finger on, I think the most important thing that the guardian do is really to facilitate communication between project and community members. And obviously, I think Moonstake is in a very good position to do that.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, then all time is running so fast. So then, let me just ask you one last question. What are some of the prospective milestones and for Orbs in 2021?
Okay, good question. Okay, that's how I'm gonna answer it. So I think if you look back at 2019, 2020, what we did is really build up the robustness of our blockchain, like the core blockchain itself, the proof of stake, our V2.5. We really built like a very strong fundamental for the blockchain. I think we're pushing on two things now for end of 2020 and 2021, and hopefully also in the future. We're working one on ecosystem expansion. I think people can see that we're working very, very hard on expanding our ecosystem. I think we had 6 listings, quite major listings in just the last couple of weeks, you know, including KuCoin and FTX and Gate.io and Indodex in Indonesia and La Token, and we, you know, we also have a few others in you know, in the pipeline, and some that we've already announced. But so that's in terms of exchanges. In terms of wallets, we had quite a lot of integrations with different types of wallets. Obviously, Moonstake is one of them. Also, in terms of, like, you know, the different information websites where you can see information about Orbs. So really trying to build out, like, our ecosystem within the crypto space. That's one. And also, and most importantly, is our push into DeFi. We're looking for, you know, actually launching the Orbs Liquidity Nexus as an independent DeFi product by the Orbs network. That's very big for us because that's the first, you know, actual product we roll out there than, you know, our base infrastructure. So it's something quite new and quite big for Orbs. So we're very excited about that. And, you know, we want to position ourselves, one, as a very major player in the infrastructure space as a blockchain, and two, as a very major player in the DeFi space. So that's our aims for the future.
Right. Cool. Great. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it for the participation today and with us. The last day, do you want to actually give a comment to the audience here today?
Yeah, comment to the audience. So first of all, thank you all so much for tuning in. You know, I think nowadays the scarcest resource is attention. So, you know, we super appreciate just you giving us your attention. And one message, you know, to the people who have been with us for a very long time. You know, we have a lot of people, a lot of them in the Japanese community, some of them also in the Korean community, that have been with our project for quite a long time, even before it was launched, already 3 years and more. So we want to thank you very much for hanging on with us and believing us. I think you can see that the project is working very, very hard to try to deliver on the promise we have made. And I think we're in a very good location in a very good place to deliver. And I think you can see it in multiple places now. And, you know, all of the newcomers who are joining, we have a lot of newcomers who are joining. We welcome you to the Orbs family, to the Orbs project. We thank you also for, you know, being with us and believing in us. And yeah, and we hope you get the most educated you can get about our project and about, you know, the underlying technology, and you'll be in direct connection with us throughout, you know, the life cycle of this project.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ran. This is Ran Hammer, the General Counsel of Orbs Blockchain. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Shogo.